Well, hello there, and welcome to our second match of the evening. It's time for a little complexity versus MIBR. Winner of this will only need to win one more series rather, to make it through to the Intel Extreme Masters Brazil. Fast play at mid here. Insani under pressure, but he's going to be able to get away here, and BRN trades out one from within cave. They're trying to pressure on. This good kills coming through from Turtle. Couple popper shotters, and now it's just one man remaining. One lonesome soldier, one solitary mullet to try and bring this round back, and I don't think MIBR are much interested in allowing it. They've got him hemmed in as well. The pressure's going to come in. They're going to crunch at some point. And, well, Halzer should not be long for this world, and he's not, John. He's not at all.
No, most certainly not. 1-0 for MIBR. A nice little defense there that they put up against Complexity. This map's been interesting, I think, Anubis so far, Mike, and in that it's hard to say which team it gives the advantage to, because there are so many entry points to each bomb site. You would think that technically it would be T-sided, and I think in a lot of instances it has been, but so far I think the jury's still out as to what this map will end up being in terms of CT-sided or T-sidedness.
I feel like it's always this life cycle of a new map. It comes in, it's relatively T-sided because you can just hit things, and CTs haven't necessarily figured out timings and
Exactly.
counter utility. Then CTs figure out this utility. It leaves very heavily defensive sided for a little while, and then people start figuring out exacts and funky things to do. So it's a life cycle.
Yeah, but so far I've actually really enjoyed what Anubis has brought to the map, which is not usually the case for me because, you know...
You're cranky. Oh, a little run and gun, a little drive-by from Grim. Took Fang's life out, but they do get a rifle. But they lose a JT, so not really an even exchange here. Just two players at mid trying to make their way through. Let's see if this rifle can net anything positive. They're trying to pressure on with the Molotov. Keep them at bay. They'll back off. Still got some time to play with. A minute on the clock to flirt with here, so maybe the drop down in towards the canals. It's a possibility. Wary that there could be pushed. There could be a boundary pusher, such as Exit, such as currently is Turtle. Get interesting. Kind of interesting.
A little bit. Halzer, the last one standing again. And he will be going to the B bomb site, which only has one player on it for the time being. So if he wins the 1v1, maybe he has a chance here, but the smoke is currently preventing him from getting to the site cleanly. He's trying to work his way around it, and has and does get the headshot onto BRN. That's going to be a bomb plant here at the very least. He could win it up against 2 MP9. No. Gets flanked out by Exit, and that will be that. 2-0 in favor of MIBR.
Still nice to get a bomb plant out of that, considering how dire it was looking. But MIBR will be happy. They take the 2 rifles out, right? They lose a bunch of SMGs, but I think maybe there's 1 rifle lost. Not actually sure how many they brought into that one. It'll be all right. They wind up with the 2-0. They have a hot start. They're feeling good about this.
Yeah, and a player to keep an eye out for in this series anyway is going to be Turtle. He was the hot hand against Pain when they played earlier on today. 57-40 in terms of his scoreline. 89.9 ADR and a 1.4 rating, leading the team across the board there. And in fact, one player who's also really come into his own, Insani, Mike, because he had to replace Jota, which is not an easy task because of how good of a player Jota is, but he's done it. Like, he's really filled the role perfectly. Jota was very effective supporting with flashbangs, also with entries as well, and of course in terms of frag prowess, and checks off all the boxes. Turtle's going to get the shot onto JT. Floppy immediately trades it out, and we have a 4v4.
Yeah, man, I know Insani's turned a lot of heads, especially in the, with his performances in Kato, playing against some of the best players in the world, right? He was banging. It was some really exciting play coming through after that one, so, yeah, no, definitely one to watch. Definitely one to keep an eye on as we go forward here. Seems like we're going to get the take in towards the site. Bang! Going to dodge that first op shot. Pressure onto the filler player, and they're going to take the boat down, so now... Well, B is lost entirely. Do they want to attempt a retake? It's going to be tricky, and Sonny's working his way around the flank back in towards spawn, but I don't think this is necessarily going to be one that they want to go for, and so this is going to be Cole getting on the board in their first gun round.
Yeah, nicely done for Cole. They get a couple of upgrades. I don't think they had AKs across the board because they chose to pick up a couple of M4s. The A4 for Floppy and the A1S for Fang, but either way, you know, it's going to be Exit and Insani. Looks like I need to cleanse the names on my game mic. But yeah, Insani is going to be surviving here with the A1S. What is that command again?
Oh, we were just talking about it. It's
Yeah.
CL underscore sanitize something something player names, blah, blah, blah.
Perfect. Yes. That's very helpful, Mike. Thank you.
Yes.
No. There's always one player on the Brazilian squads for some reason that's muted. It's very
Well,
strange.
so I have a theory about this.
Okay.
Which is that I think when, because it's frequently players who've like just moved over or whatnot, I suspect there is a certain amount of getting reported for not speaking English necessarily when they first come over and are playing or competing. That's my theory. It's my charitable theory.
Wait, yeah.
That they're not just toxic. Could just be that they're toxic.
Probably. Maybe. But it's just strange. I think you're right. Your theory could be correct.
It's my working theory.
Yeah.
Halzer's going to eat that dunker of a nade. Skipper of a nade, really. But it's going to be pressuring towards mid. Oh, and that's a nice angle for Insani. He's going to be able to get away as well. Uncontested. So that's a freebie. Pang was expecting the tight angle. Wasn't really looking for the crack shot, if you will. And they're going to be able to keep the toe hold in towards mid, but this could get risky. Especially with Insani having posted back up. You don't want to give him too many opportunities. Oh, dodges the up shot, but he won't get past Grim's scope. Or lack thereof. Now they're backing out. They're backing out of A main. Well, this is interesting. They're holding the MIBR presence. There's a flank developing here. But they're kind of watching for this. So how does this work out? Player tucked up close. Grim gets the one. Halzerk. He's getting chased down here. This is very awkward, but Turtle has such a strong position. The Molotov's going to signal it as well. They're kind of funneling towards B. They're abandoning that gun. They're abandoning that spot. And they're not ready for BRN to have a rifle at hand. This is falling apart for Complexity. They'll get the bomb down. They'll get it planted. But in the post plant at 2v4, this is going to be so very tough. Post it up here towards Glizzy. Halzerk will back away with that AWP. He's going to have to be critical if they want to hold on to this round. Good flashbang, good timing, good kill from Halzerk. That's what you got to do. You got to start to whittle off these numbers if they're going to have a chance at this one. Oh, the tick of the Molotov. They get an audio cue. They know he's here. JT gets a kill as a result on the back pillar. Now it's starting to fall apart. MIBR, they just can't take the space in towards the site. They're being picked apart bit by bit by bit, and now time runs short. And it doesn't even matter if they get these kills. It's not happening. It's not happening right here. It's not happening right now. That tap is meaningless. This round is over, and JT will get the kill to confirm.
Wow, what a hold there by Complexity. No one survives the round at the end of the day, but Halzerk in particular, when it was a 3v2 disadvantage for Complexity. He gets one to even out the numbers, then throws a perfect flashbang for JT, who's able to get the follow-up, and with only one player left, well, there wasn't much hope for MIBR given how much time was left on that bomb plant. So, tied up 2-2. Complexity responding very well after losing those two opening rounds and forcing MIBR onto a pistol round. That means only 4 USPs, a P250, and a couple of flashbangs. No armor, no rifles.
And the attempt at the cheeky play. 4-man push, 5-man really, coming to join them. Outside of A long. They're in the water, they're into canals. JT is wondering if he's about to make a lot of money. Or if he's going to get caught by 27 USPs. Run, JT, run!
Thank you.
Well, this retake should be an impossibility.
Yeah.
But let's see. Maybe they can catch some guns, keep them in towards the site. Maybe have someone go up in the smoke with a bomb. Could get interesting.
Perhaps. Probably not. They're not even on the right side. So yeah, they're just kind of running away here, preventing the kill bonus from being handed to Complexity. One player is left behind. That's Turtle. Doesn't have a kit. Could try and sneak on here. He probably won't.
Yay! I appreciate the gusto.
I do too. You know, if someone wasn't there, could have had a defusal potentially.
It's like I saw Snacks do this once.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can do it. Wouldn't be the first time.
3-2 for call. One thing to note, Mike, is on Anubis, both of these teams, I believe, have either 500 records or losing records. Yeah, Complexity at 2-4 on Anubis so far with a -12 round differential, and MIBR sitting at 3-3 with a +16 round differential. But the competition has been decidedly tougher on the complexity side, which is kind of a recurring trend that that we
Yeah.
keep talking about as we go on here in this qualifier, because they are the team that has had the toughest opponents over the past few months.
And having watched those Anubis games for them at Katowice, right? That
Yeah.
Outsiders game in particular, they should have closed. Frankly, they
Yeah.
got outsiders in a big way. They got outlasted and mentally boomed. But
Right.
that looked like it was their map. I mean, the Ents game was impressive. The big game was a tightly contested one. Their Anubis has looked good. Maybe the raw stats don't show it, but their Anubis has looked very good. And I think this is going to be a really key test because MIBR has a lot of games against NA competition, but they only played it I think once in their Kato run, and that was against
That's right.
Greyhounds, which is not.
Nothing meaningful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the most fearsome of competitor when you consider that Kato pool. So it's an interesting one for sure. I think that this would be a really good chance for MIBR to show us that they've got something meaningful here on Anubis if they could pull off this win.
Yeah, no question. And I mean, you're right about how close the matches were at Cato, Mike, for complexity. They went 28 or more rounds in their losses against Navi, Big, and Outsiders. And of course, as you mentioned, the Outsiders match going so close. 19, his exit gets a 2K. JT and Floppy get dropped. Turtle finds Fang, and complexity fall completely flat in the opening moments here of this round.
Yeah, I mean, we just lined up for the AUG, right? Trying to dry peek an angle and blah, okay, we got another dry peek going on here. I mean, at this point, you got to try and make something happen individually, but that was just, I don't know what happened on the fight outside of B, but from my perspective, it looked like you had 5 players taking full-on dry fights and dying. So, bit disjointed there for complexity. I don't know what exactly the plan was. Maybe they're just trying to take some forward toe holds and didn't expect that degree of resistance, but they certainly found it. And Halsik looks like he's going to try and keep his off for 35 seconds.
It's a long time.
Long time to think about what you did wrong in this one.
Hmm.
So the AUGs is an interesting idea on this map, right? A lot of teams have been deploying the double AWP because there's such strong AWPing angles.
Oh, yeah.
But double AUG. Also, I just noticed Halsik has the new AWP that just got replaced in. Hold on. I'm going to go spec it.
Does he really?
Yeah. I'm going to spec him while he's saving here.
Oh, wow. He must have had the doodle lore before that, and now it's a duality.
Or he literally just bought this in between our series.
It's possible, too. Yes.
I bet he did.
It's not a bad skin, honestly.
No, it
It's
looks
pretty
kind of
cool.
hype, man. It's got like
Yeah.
a snake. It's pretty dope.
A dual lore. No, I mean, dual lore was more interesting for me personally, but I think there's a lot of people that would like this one.
I don't remember what the doodle lore looked like.
There's still pictures out there, Mike. Videos.
I can
You go
look.
see them.
All right,
It's
I'll go look.
interesting. I do believe that like the doodle lore will still be called a doodle lore in some cases in people's inventory, but it won't be a doodle lore in game. So I'm not sure if that's going to have value if you're one of those people who cares about that, which I am. Oh God, maybe I should just go buy one. Anyway, 3-3. Let's get back to the action. Enough about skins.
No.
BRN is going to get a nice little headshot onto JP. Flashbang going to get tossed. In fact, a nade tossed forward. Complexity have been stopped in their tracks, Mike.
Oh, super effective. And Sonny, that's a ripper shot. Again, showing that prowess that turns so many heads in his international debut. This is definitely going to be one to watch. Just leaving Halsik to try and work this position outside of big main, but I mean, you're going to need a Canals drop down to be able to help or work your way all the way through, but that requires killing Insani, which they're trying to do right now. Golly, the pressure, and BRN gets her done with the AUG again. This is, well, starting to be interesting here for complexity in that they've just been massively rebuffed in both of these. And if you're going to have AUGs and ops posted up on angles, it's going to be very tough for the T-side to get in. I think this might be a situation, John, where we see them go back to sort of a straight-up utility-based execute, right? Get your nades, run onto a site, flash, smoke, do whatever you can. But right now, they're not pushing these scopes off at angles.
No, I mean, they're losing the fights before they even get a chance to execute properly, right?
Yeah.
I think a timeout would be a good call here for complexity. just to talk things over and kind of get themselves sorted, because these last couple of rounds have seemed a little disjointed, and MIBR just are cutting them off very quickly.
T-side save.
They could force into it, but I think they want to keep their money, maybe? No, they are forcing into it. It seems to be the trend for Complexity over these last couple of BO3s anyway.
Yeah, get weird with it. What are they going to do? Grouping up en masse. Okay, here they are, moving as a pack. They've got one player solitary. That's JT, but JT's just trying to exert some pressure here and keep them honest towards Dark so that it's not just full focus on B main. You have the jump spotting with the smoke. They might just go through this, is what this is looking like. JT knows he's got to be wary about his flank, but when the smoke fades, there's going to come the look back out. And this is going to be the timing. Okay, they're coming through. Shots. Bringing past JT. Smoke into B main. That's the problem. Do they wait this? And if so, does MIBR detect this and start to rotate an extra player? Because they haven't seen anything towards A, right? They haven't seen anything towards mid, and so Insani's on the move. Here's where you're going to get in trouble. The mid player's going to be able to come into action really quickly. You've got two players here in towards Dark. Can JT get either? Oh, good damage. And they're locked up with a Molotov, but they can't get through. And Fang, he's torn up by the flames. That's great timing for Insani to come through. Great feel for this from MIBR, and it's going to be double. The hold is working, but no. Turtle gets his last laugh. That's what he needed. And it comes down to just one. 1v2. How much time does he have? 45 seconds. Can make something happen here with the clock. Could maybe even attempt to slip the gap and head towards A. But we'll go with what's in front of him. Bomb down, unlikely, immediately dead. Oh, slips towards Glizzy. A little bit of space here. Players coming from both sides. They have to know where he's gone to, though. And yeah, Exit reads it right. There was only one really option presented since Exit held the sight line. That means the bomb's going to be defused, and MIBR will climb to 5.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, Halzer does get that bomb plant, and Complexity able to create something more than the previous 2 rounds, but it is Halzer making those individual plays to create that possibility. So still not seeing that teamwork that we've seen in the past for Complexity here on Anubis, but
I will say, in that round, right, if JT has something a little bit more than a deagle, or if just one of his shots connects heads on the double peek out from Cave, that was the idea, right, is drawing focus. There's definitely a world where that works a little bit better, but the timing from MIBR to bring in Insani to enable that double push was very effective.
Yeah, they have a lot of manpower on the B site, and not to mention fantastic back and forth. Alrighty, going to round number 9 here. JT and the rest of Complexity stuck on pistol. We saw how good they can be with ADK with these, and there it is. Indeed, the timing. JT swings around to connector. Turtle is dropped, and now they have a rifle in their hands. MIBR, of course, wary of this possibility, but BR whiffs the shot. He does get one, pulls out the pistol, though, and gets overloaded by the remaining players. The B side has been taken here on the eco, and now the bomb has been planted.
Oh, this is getting really interesting. That's a killer flash. Henny just hoping to hit and hoping that it was just a bit of a stall-out tactic, but no, Halzerk went hunting on the end of it, and he's going to do exactly that towards Cave. Brutal here. What are you going to do? You can't get away from this one. Exit, the lone survivor. Does he really want to test this, or does he want to try and keep his gun? He wants to try and take some of their guns away. He will get one, but I think Complexity are more than happy with that, considering what they brought into it. They accelerate the pace. They don't allow that rotation to come in, so it keeps the B-site players uncomfortable as their hit comes through.
Wow. Honestly, at a certain point, you have to start asking yourself, is it the team that's messing up the anti-ecos, or is it the one on the eco that's really so very effective on them that they can make the difference and constantly steal those rounds away? At this point, Complexity made it very clear that they were capable of it against ATK, and now they've already, in the first 10 rounds of this map, they've managed to get an eco round against MIBR in a convincing fashion, Mike.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw the ideas of, it was even their previous gun round, right? The limited gun round. It's that same idea, but just accelerated up a pitch. So, now how does MIBR adjust to it? Do they start to play 3B early? Do they leave one solo A, drop one in towards mid? It's sort of been Insani as that rotator, right? But he's mostly what we've seen in towards mid, so this could be an interesting shakeup. Pause comes in. Don't think this is of a tactical nature, unfortunately. So hopefully whatever the
That's
issue is, we get
technical.
sorted quickly.
Indeed. But yeah, I love that strat though, Mike, by Complexity, the double peak, right, with the Deagles into connector, just trying to storm their way onto the B site. Once they get that opener, they immediately swing around towards the back site, isolate the Opper, and an unfortunate missed shot for BRN. He does recover to get one, but if he hits the first, he sets himself up a lot better for a follow-up than, of course, having to pull out the pistol and desperately fire away.
Yeah.
Looks like everything's been sorted quickly here, Mike.
Yeah, we're right back into it. Right back into the fun. This is going to be an interesting round. This is going to be a, let's see. The MIBR bring the third player over early. Yes. Yes, they do. Makes sense. You want to try and counter out this faster play, but Plexi's already trying to throw a bit of a counter punch, taking some space towards A main early on, taking back in towards a default. That was the aggression out of B main. That was bold. I like it. Spicy from MIBR. JT's taking up this position, keeping the pressure up towards Cade, keeping some focus here. This is Complexity back into their spread, right? Trying to figure it out, trying to see what the response is going to be from MIBR, and right now there isn't one. They went with that 3 early B early on, and they backed off into it.
Ooh, JT's going to have to be careful here. A nade connects on and takes it down to 14, and then the Molotov could have finished him off, but he is able to retreat away. And well, no, Fang tries to engage with Insani, and that's a very important frag for MIBR. The thing is, Complexity are adjusting. They send 3 players towards the A site, and technically it's a mini 3v2 here onto the site.
It is, yeah. They found the soft site. They've found the source of pressure, but they're going to start to realize this, right? There's a time around this. Insani's pushed down bed. He's trying to pinch back into the players outside of B main. They got to go. They got to go if they're going to do it. They need to distract the focus. And now the flank's going to be developing. Grimm's been caught out. He was the lurker. Henny connects for one. Exits down. Henny gets more. And, well, that's disastrous. They found the bomb here on the flank, on the periphery. Just floppy. Well, he will get one. That's going to be all she wrote.
Yeah, Henny finally awakening here for a couple of frags. He's only got 3 on the board, but man, he's one of those players that's either exceptionally hot and gets ridiculous performances on the map, or he's very cold and just kind of is there. He has average frags and doesn't really have that much impact. And we saw that in EPL conference, right? In the first 2 BO3s he played, I think he had 24 or more frags in 4 of the 5 maps that he played. 117 frags overall. He's still down in the final BO3, the decider against Downs, to actually make EPL Season 17, which they did win, but he was not as impactful as he had been in the previous 2 matches. Still, definitely a player to watch, and we'll see how he'll square off against Halzer.
Early exchange in towards mid. They take out Insani, though. He's been such a thorn in their side. Might be okay with that being a 1-3-1. Just pushing towards Cave. This is getting interesting. There's a flank developing here from MIBR. That's BRN, who's been sent on the long mission. But pressuring towards A is going to be difficult. MIBR haven't really had to defend this site from 2 sides just yet. Oh, that's a great start, though. Exit, watching for the boost. Henny connects on another. And all right, they were more than comfortable. More than capable. Complexity dismantled on approach. This is going to be a 7th almost certainly for MIBR. MIBR looking really good in the defense here, John.
Absolutely, and Henry's starting to become a part of that. Those 2 shots very, very crisp. No hesitation at all. Floppy. Last one standing, 24 seconds remaining. Looking at the loss bonus, it's 2,400, so saving is beneficial here with the body armor and the AK. Yeah, Complexity gonna have to surrender a 7th to MIBR here. Haven't really been able to make much headway when they're trying to hit that A site, have they, Mike?
No.
Most of their success has been on B.
Yeah, now they've come up against the brick wall here towards A. I mean, that round they had great positioning for it, right? Maybe a little bit disjointed, trying to get the boost to set up behind the smoke, and then you know, your players from mid are sort of a little bit telegraphed once you see that boost coming in. But they still had great positioning coming into it once they killed Insani. Didn't amount to much. Well defended from MIBR. Quick shoot. And I do like the awareness to be checking for that boost. Seems like this might be pressure back towards B. 2 players making their way downtown. Walking around.
What?
Make our way downtown, walking
Oh.
around, I don't remember the rest of that song.
It's probably better that way.
Probably. 3 players here in towards B. It's well reinforced. That Molotov's timely. I don't know whether the tick was heard, but certainly they got a pretty good idea that there might be someone out there. Oh, that nade. Now they know. Now they know. All right. Why not? Turtle. Go see if he can't get more. Off tags. Good frag, but the trade is better. Turtle's dead. That puts pressure on. Henny needs to hit something here. He knows. Being pressure from both sides, and that's Halzerk to rip his head off. Uh-oh. This has gotten to a 2v2. This should not have been. But on the smoke fade, and Sonny's going to start to recover here. Halzerk, though, brought himself a clutch. And he's still got time. 40 seconds. It goes both ways, though. They can reroute, and Ansani is taking full advantage of that. Halzerk's going to think he's stuck. He'll get the bomb plant off, but does he expect that Ansani could be so close? No! Oh, well maneuvered by the young gun. Op retrieved, round secured. Nice bit of wherewithal to immediately back off when he smoked off on his angle.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ansani played that slowly and patiently, did not want to try and force the issue, knew that Halzerk had no idea what his positioning could be, so lets the bomb go down, but while doing so, charges up, gets right into the face of Halzerk, who had no idea, like you mentioned, Mike, that Ansani would be even that close, and that was an easy frag, giving MIBR an 8th round, and of course, securing a lead heading into the second half. Now Complexity will have a decent enough buy-up off of that because of the bomb plant, 3 AKs, and the Galil along with the big green in Halzerk's hands. And Sani peeking back and forth towards bridge from window. JT looking towards arches. Positioning pretty much every round. It's about where Complexity decides to go this time. As mentioned, the A site has been very difficult for them to crack. Looks like they're going to try again. Finally, they get the opener on to Turtle. That's JT finding it, and Sonny gets tagged down to 16. And now a nade gets tossed forward to try and keep Complexity at bay. That's Henny tossing it, and now he's got the op out once more, looking for a shot and a frag.
It's going to be interesting. They're focusing in on this mid fight. They are really going to test that AWP. Off his sight lines, volleying the close angle, taking this space, keeping the pressure up. Oh, the response here. The flashbang is so good, and that's going to result in some serious kills coming through from Complexity. This could be disastrous now. The A site, a risk of being lost. The op still focusing towards mid. They're going to play together. Double play here. And, well, it's an instant trade, and Halzerk gets the last laugh, peeking back in. Complexity not letting up the pressure on that one and netting around as a result.
As I mentioned in the previous series, you know, coming into this close qualifier, JT, when he gets opening frags, the team wins 72.6% of the time. At least over the last month. So we saw it again there. JT gets the first one, and then the cavalry charges in. That time, the timing and Complexity's favor, and they also do a great job with the util and the execute on to B, and really MIBR had no chance. Timeout going to be called on their side, talking things over. Perhaps a bit of a resurgence here by Complexity in the latter part of this half. Looking at the money, too, for MIBR, it's not going to be good, so could very well just be a 6 right here.
Could be. Could be. Still a decent half for MIBR to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, 8 rounds already booked in, but yeah, it's looking rough in this one. What's your cheeky play, MIBR? Last time they did the full sprinter out A long, right?
Mm-hmm.
5 players basically doing that. They're going to do it again? No. B stack.
Looks like it. Yeah, they're setting up for the B stack.
They ready to throw? No? Oh, they're still going to tuck here. I don't mind this. You have 1 player towards A to sell it if they take a fight. Go for the full stack. Lexia taking some methodical map control, though. Seeing nothing in towards the mid. Once they have mid, it gives you so many options on this map.
Right.
It's kind of Mirage reminiscent in that mid is such an important fight in every round.
Yeah, I would argue with the amount of paths that you have are available to you once you get mid, it's even more important than Mirage.
Yeah.
You can go from so many different directions and wrap each bomb site.
Now, it does seem like, at least on the moment, Complexity is picking wisely with 50 seconds as well. I may not be as big of an issue. One USP tapping through, that's not enough to dissuade them. They've already gained a platform, peering towards heaven. Yeah, this bomb's going to go down. There's nothing that MIBR can do about this one. It's going to be about trying to find some damage on the peripheries.
Honestly, nothing to lose by trying to do some damage here. Just go for it. See what you can come up with. Into them, gets two,
right.
but there's an AK on the ground. Maybe they can retrieve it. That would be something.
Yeah, time to go on a mission here, Henny. Just wants the gun. He's got it. I don't even know that they're going to be able to check him here. Oh, he's dropped canals. This could actually be a problem. He gets away with it. All right, there you go, Henny. Run, Henny, run. That is a valuable prize out of a 5
Absolutely, especially given the fact that BRN and Turtle cannot get a full buy-up here. So that AK is going to help immensely. And he could drop for one of them as well, and that's going to be BRN. Turtle opting for the MP9. Not too shabby. You talked about the AUG, and I think typically in maps where you can go for a double op setup on CT side, the AUG is indeed viable, but I mean, it's rare that we see two, so I'm curious to see if that trend is going to continue on Anubis.
An exit playing it, right? Mostly for this A-long fight.
Mm-hmm.
They had two, though. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they did have two earlier on.
BRN
can't afford it. Yeah.
Nice opening pick for Ansani. Again, he's been working some serious damage here and towards mid. Oh, almost got caught with util. Almost got caught, but Fang checking the angle. Looks away, misses the opportunity. Huge short for MIBR once more as they look to take this last round of the half. Turtle. Good peek. There's a flashbang. Oh, and it is very effective. Good bouncer from BRN. Great execution from Turtle.
Grim gonna spray down Turtle there, so that's a good response from Complexity, despite the fact it did lose the first two players in the round. Bring it down to only a man advantage. MIBR.
Molly took a weird bounce. Didn't actually land Glizzy like he was hoping. It bounced off of some sort of geometry there. Came back out, so they know it's, well, hopefully they know it's not clear. They might not quite have realized. And that seems like it's the case. Oh. BRN will punish. He'll finally be laid low, but now it's a 1v3 for JT. His flank is developing, and they don't even need it. Henny puts him down from the front, and that'll send us through to our halftime break. here after the half. Ready to get things going, and we got a bit of a spicy complexity buy to start things off. We got 2 sets of dualies. Quaddies! I think they like to run these in towards caves. Let's see if they do it again. That's Grim and Halzerg. Yep, they are playing together. Moving towards B. Pressure in mid. Heavy pressure mid. That's going to send Fang bailing out very early on. Let's see. Get things a little bit more popping. Second half here for Fang. JT certainly can't. He's under pressure. He's dumpstered early. And so now, with control of mid, with Insani back in the place he called home in the first half, pressure's going to come towards this B site. Back in towards Glizzy goes Grim. He collects on one, but this is going to activate Insani. He's working his way back into spawn, hoping they've forgotten about him. Getting counter the rotators, but none of his comrades may be left by that point.
Wow.
They got the bomb. They take out Insani as well. Fang finding that kill. And this is looking bad for complexity, but under pressure, they shine like diamonds.
Yeah, I mean, look, JT was the first player to go down, and then all of a sudden, MIBR trying to get into that B site, get shut down entirely. Grim doing most of the work there with the dualies. 2 frags for him, and Exit now the last man standing. They know where he is. It's only a matter of time before this one is wrapped up with a pretty bow. And Exit just biding his time. Oh my goodness, I do not see a path forward for him unless he gets some ridiculous insta flicks.
They may try and follow as well. Oh, they are going to swing. They are just going to chase. All right. Thought they might just try and wait him out if he was going to be willing to give them the full clock. But nope. That won't happen. Instead, you'll just have a decisive complexity pistol round.
Yeah, Grim was the hot hand in the BO3 against ATK. 54 and 39 over 2 maps, 95.9 ADR and a 1.39 rating. He was as good as he has been, right, over these last few months.
Yeah, certainly. They're hoping that he's going to be that again here on Anubis. Okay, Fang gets one, but overwhelmed. Fang has not had a great map here.
No.
A little bit uncomfortable in towards these mid-fights. It's a tough position for sure. But they're going to need him to hold up a little bit more. That's some damage on a BRN. Still, though, 1-for-1 exchange. Not a bad thing for the T's. And it seems like they're going to group up and see what they can get towards A.
I'm not sure they're going to commit just yet. Still have a full minute and 20 seconds, or did when I was starting that sentence. Is dwindling down a little bit. It looks like they want to give the FAMAS to Henny. And yeah, A is likely their final destination because they're just stacking up all their util and Exit and BRN. And they're going to flash them in, smoke them in, everything. Here they come. And we walk it into the MP9 of Floppy, who does get flashbangs, so he'll have to back off. The damage, Grim can't, right. Neither can Floppy. What an execute there from MIBR, and JT and Halzerg might be forced onto the save.
They're backing off. They're backing right off of it. There we go. Some snappy shooting. It wasn't bad positioning for complexity, but no damage on the entry means there's no way they can consider it. Timing of the info push. JT took a little peek outside in towards B main, but it was maybe a bit late, and they didn't trust the quick rotate. So, hey, MIBR find a site with 2 defenders and just rip their heads from shoulders. That'll do.
Pistol force by Mike. That's all they had. They made it work, and, well, I mean, they obviously got that FAMAS off of Fang's body towards mid. And after that, well, all went MIBR's way, and they even take down Halzerg, so the A1S is gone. Can it be recovered by JT? No, he couldn't get back in time, so it's only the MP9 carried forward, and their economy is in the gutter.
Absolute crater from complexity. Smoking that rubble. And they're going to invest in here because it's a double eco situation. So you wind up in a situation where MIBR could very feasibly be on 12 rounds before complexity have a chance to really fight back.
Yeah.
This is a critical one, though. I've seen complexity pull off some shenanigans tonight. MIBR to prevent the shenanigans. Wow, that shot tilted our cam.
Molotof's going to fly in here right next to Fang, and with only the Deagle in his hands, he's not going to be playing as aggressive of an angle. And he backs off a little bit. He's giving up bridge pretty much completely. Floppy is watching into mid, but complexity. We're just going to have to hope that these pistols can ring true on their side. And of course, JT going to be playing up close and personal at connector, which is probably the best spot to put the MP9 in this situation. B-stack is currently what's being favored by complexity, with the lurk being floppy. Should say the anchor onto A being floppy.
As we hit the 40-second mark, I mean, it does seem
Yeah.
like MIBR might be tripping into the stack. Things could get interesting here.
Definitely.
You have that MP9 playing in towards cave, playing in towards dark. Dead. Dead in towards cave, dead in towards dark.
Yeah.
But that might just funnel them further in towards the stack. Taking that kill. All right, do they clear this jail position? Out of the first. The second, though, they do. Oh, both directions. Hazard. He's just taking them all down. There's no time. There's no time. It's going to be a save from Henny. He has to back away. He recognizes he doesn't have the clock, doesn't want to get taken down afterwards. Oh, my goodness. Complexity. How do they do it again? How does Halzerk pull out this magic?
3 perfectly placed shots. They walked right into him. They had absolutely no idea that he was going to be there. But, I mean, once he hits the first one, you think they try to clear him out. But, I mean, there was just no time. Halzerk was just like a machine, hitting those shots perfectly.
Bring
Unreal.
me I want my damn deagle every time round.
Not the op, the deagle.
Oh, my gosh.
That was ridiculous. Just when it looked like MIBR were going to gain control and really get some momentum here on Anubis, complexity swipe it away. Not complexity, Halzerk swipes it away.
Swipes it away. Now, we will say they do have to withstand a pistol buy of their own at this point, at this juncture.
Right.
Woo! Oh, and that's the problem. One kill comes in, the other does as well. Grim, though, he can't get away. Overextended, overcommitted, and he gets caught out at Glizzy. So now his rifle's picked up. It's 3-on-3. That bomb is nowhere close, but it'll make its way over. And nobody pushed down mid, so it can make its way over uncontested. Unharassed. In its coop. And even better now. Why not? All right.
Whoa,
Turtle finds one.
okay.
I know they have Turtle hemmed into the corner, but you're going to commit to this off the flashbang? Yes, they are. They're going to zone in. They've got the last. But Insani mows them both down. A 1v2 clutch out from the young gun.
Oh my goodness. Right after that ridiculous performance from Halzerk with the deagle, MIBR comes right on back, gets a ridiculous round off of Insani, of course, who gets the 1v2 clutch, 11-8 in their favor. And I mean, yeah, you have to call a timeout if you're complexity after that.
That's just, I mean,
Wow.
that's just whiplash. Whiplash, man. Woo. Woo. Back and forth they go.
Whew. Yeah, indeed. Man.
All right. Well, settled in. Figured out your buy. It's a buy. It's not great, but it is a buy. You don't want to lose the force buy wars here. You want to try and reclaim that momentum. And, well, this one's going to be a tough ask. Exit has a MAC-10. I think there's a Galil out on the field. There's 2, actually. It's not perfect, but it's a heck of a lot better than what you got. Unless Halzerk hits another deagle clip.
I mean, that only happens once, right?
Does lightning strike twice? Let's find out. They call him Norwegian lightning.
Flashbang gonna get tossed forward here into A entrance. Very neat. Flashbang thrown in now, and just MIBR poking and prodding their way around. Maybe they've realized there's a potential vulnerability at this A site. They wouldn't be wrong, because it's only one player there, Floppy, with the MP9. The 3 of the other players are waiting towards bridge, Mike. That's an interesting little stack they got going. I was predicting that MIBR would head in that direction. Insani, though, is waiting for Peaks to come out. He does catch the shoulder of a player, but doesn't do much damage.
We have to come up with like a nickname for Insani at this point. We don't want to... My urge is to say bridge troll, but I feel like that can just be interpreted negatively. But what I'm trying to say here is you ain't crossing that bridge without paying its toll. Either side, really.
Oh, yeah.
They've gained some ground here in towards cave. Yaren poking his way over. It's not being contested. Actually, they're rotating off at just the wrong moment. Oh, timing. 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 It's over. Time to save. Not much, but it's better than the sweet oblivion of death.
Yeah, I think I mean, you got 4 players with armor, floppy with full armor, 3 with just the body armor, but that's more than enough up against these AKs. Although there are some Galils in the mix and MAC-10s. Anyway, look, MIBR are up to 12 at the end of the day, even though it looked like Complexity were going to stop them from getting up to this type of lead after that Deagle clip from Halzerk. Just wasn't enough to light the fire under the North American squad.
No, certainly not. And this Brazilian team, MIBR, doing a great job of this. I think what a lot of it's coming down to is that Complexity is having a lot of trouble establishing presence in mid, right? So I mean, last round you saw them run in with 3, or try that with the lesser weaponry, right? They're having to gamble, they're having to stack to try and find the impact that Insani was having in the first half in the same position. That's really the thing that's lacking here. Fang has a rifle right now. It's the one who's been playing mid. They could use some sort of a mid play just to, you know, keep MIBR honest. Insani once again trying to hold court as they work into their positions in the default.
Only one. Floppy does manage to take down an exit, so it is a 4v4 here, and BRN's on life support at 15 HP. Fang going to smoke off A main. And MIBR have been rebuffed for the time being, although Turtle is hunting around the B site. He's got the Molotov. He's going to throw that close. That's a really good one to toss because Grim's right there, so he has to move, and Turtle has flushed him out. 4v3, there's the man advantage they were looking for. JT, only the USP in his hands. And this is going to be a very tough ask with 3 players coming in towards him. And of course, the other 2 on B have to be wary of the presence that was shown earlier.
Surprised we haven't seen the rotation. Yeah, I mean, they're just so wary of it. But this one coming through with just a USP and elimination now. You get a kill from Halzerk. Maybe an upgrade here available. Indeed, an upgrade available. Got 2 rifles. Do they want to contest this round, or do they want to keep the guns alive into the next? They seem like they're coming into a contest.
The save is the better call, I think, in this situation.
Purely on timing, right? You don't have kits. Trying for some exits. Yeah, they're not gonna be able to challenge this round. So that's gonna be MIBR on to 13. 5-round lead on their own map choice, and it's looking very good. I like what they're bringing to the table. Halzerk, that was a decision. That's a decision that he is punished for. So 1 gun lost. But Fang will be
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand that. Just could have been patient, waited for a peek to come through, and then probably would have had the advantage. Instead, he goes for one himself. And
one thing to note,
1 rifle lost.
John, a lot of teams have focused on getting the AWP up on their CT side of Anubis. I don't think we've seen a single AWP for Complexity, a team that normally likes it, right? A lot of teams are running the double AWP these days on this map, and I don't think they've had the stable enough economy this entire half to do it.
They have not. You're absolutely right. Halzerk hasn't had a chance to really shred his stuff with the AWP, which could very well be a difference maker. As it stands, though, MIBR 13-8, a 5-round lead. They've got the economy behind them. Another full buy coming through. Galil has been carried forward for some time in Turtle's hands, but he's going to keep using it until he gets fragged. But yeah.
This one, looking like it could be the round that determines the map. Complexity, desperation seeping in. Or MIBR. chance for an early close.
Looks like they're just going to set up play defaults for now. There's a flashbang in for BRN. He makes the first move, and he slips into the cubby here.
And he heard that they took a peek back in, so they might think it's clear. This is going to be an interesting standoff. Flashbang's good. Floppy's gone. They know where the next is as well, and BRN will get the both. Halls are dropped on the drop down. Fang has to go ham here. He has to go supernova if they're going to even have a chance in this round. Molotov's going to limit what he can do. Flashbangs are effective here. All the while, the mid players are working their way in, so if Fang waits too long, he's just going to be dead. Tries to take the initiative, finds it, and he's off. And this round's over. This round is over. MIBR on to 14. And for Complexity, it's just going to become about saving these guns. They've had so little impact in this second half, right? Apart from that Deagle nutso round, it has been few and far between here.
Yeah, I mean, not much more to say. Enough start to this half for Complexity, and instead takes down Grim. JT's position known now, and MIBR have no reason not to continue hunting. If they take him down, it will hurt even more on Complexity's side. They really haven't been able to, as we mentioned, build up that economy and get the AWP up and running on a map that really does benefit from it.
See if JT can even cling to this.
Oh,
at the very least.
Ooh, he found a good spot.
The one safe haven. Safest brick in Anubis. I mean, what do you even put around this? What do you even put around this, right? You just playing for overtime for 7 rounds in a row to find overtime? This is only their second tactical timeout being used. On this map.
That's what they have to talk over is, do we force up? Do we wait? I mean, they've been trying to work with broken buys for quite some time, for the majority of this half, and it just hasn't really yielded much. So yeah. I would say the better decision here is, look, you got one rifle, upgrade your pistols, get some deagles in the mix, 5.7s, and hope that you can make it work. Perhaps gamble a sight even. But, yeah, they're in such a tough spot.
And if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. So they'll do a bit. But they can get out of this round. One rifle. I mean, again, it wouldn't be an impossibility.
I mean, not forgetting the last round they did win was on a buy-up like this, so why not? They got a similar setup towards the beast. JT getting the opener. He finds himself a second onto Insani. Finally goes down, but the rifle's done its job. Now the pistols have to ring through. And Grim's actually managed to pick up an AK off the ground, so that's going to help even more. Henny and Exit, the last two standing.
Oh,
Grim has to wait here.
Blowing on those flames. That is the luckiest Molotov spread ever. He should have been burnt to a cinder, John.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. I'm thinking his digital guardian angel right now, but chance now for Cole. How do they approach this with the 2? Right? I mean, you've got the time. You could work your way back around in towards mid, see if you can pinch the site, but it doesn't seem to be what they're going to go for. They're just recommitting. Throwing what they have in. Trying to narrow down sight lines here. But Complexity are playing so tough. They do not want to give this first fight back. As soon as Grim gets contact, everyone's going to swing. That's a great clear. But here's the check back in. Oh, come down to the 1v1. Come down to the clutch. How much time left? 25 seconds. It's doable. Fumbling with the guns, trading it, but Exit will stick the dagger in between their ribs. Deflating Complexity from trying to snatch away another round. MIBR now just 1 round away from the dub.
Oh, that should have gone Complexity's way. That's a tough pill for them to swallow because they had the 3v2 advantage, low HP players on the MIBR side, and they even did it right. Like we saw, Grim gets the contact, they double swing it, find the trade, but then they can't get the last player because they were each isolated behind separate spots at that point. One player exposed at a time, effectively giving 1v1s, and yeah, that's a good way to lose. JT, the two openers again. The RN and exit are dropped. It's the exact same way the previous round started, but even better because JT does not go down to a third player.
Also because his teammates actually have guns this time.
That does help.
Barely been able to see this happen. There's one for Fang. Goes for the repeat. That's risky, but it pays off. All into Henny now, who may just want to try and limit this economy if he can. Find any sort of damage. Gap in the smoke. Cheekily left there by Fang. Just waiting to see if he can't spot some ankles. But at least for the moment, seems like that's going to be left alone. So we're just going to have some time whittling off the clock here, John.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough ask here for Complexity. 7 rounds in a row. Well, now 6 because they've got this one in the bag. But they do have the op-up, even though it didn't have any impact necessarily in this round. Halzerk perhaps going to be able to assert his dominance here in the remaining rounds. JT has really woken up at a key time for his squad. It's just such a shame they couldn't close out that previous round, Mike.
Definite missed opportunity. They'll be kicking themselves for it. All right, and he brings the opportunity. Complexity. Survive with numbers. But you know how MIBR is going to be coming right back for the kill and blow, right? They're saying even if we traded JT 1 for 1 there, we would have been fine. No reason to change the game plan here. See what the call is. Bomb and spawn. Oh, bomb not in spawn anymore. Pressure A long. Initially, see if the aggression comes through from the other side. Get the op posted on the angle. See if you can't find a pick.
Looks like the double log is coming through for Complexity as well.
Smooth augurators. Oh. Worked in the corner here. BRN had some luck with this last time. Skipper of a flashbang and then the peak. But I don't know that's going to be the case again. Seem content to sit. Leave that as the lurk. Leave that as a possibility. Take some control towards mid, which means pressure on the Fang once more. There's the flash. Get around the angle. There's the check through. They're through the doors, and Fang, she gets peppered down behind the bricks. Can't shoot back. Can't do anything about it. That's a big kill for Floppy, though. Gives his team a little bit more security to fight through, and now coming out of the smoke, Grim's gonna catch. Oof. Wants to stick around. I want to try and get the AK. Cheeky angle here on the smoke fade. I don't know that he wants to be in the same vicinity.
Time's running out here.
Out. You're absolutely right. 20 seconds. They need to get this bomb on towards the site. B seems the likely suspect. And that's a huge kill coming through, especially because it distracts Halzerk and allows the next to come on in. They can't even get the bomb towards A, but they've got the site. They need to just sprint this. Oh, turn around. You know it's here. 5 seconds. Oh, but the kill comes in and Henny will end it.
Oh, no.
What a chaotic, disjointed way to end a chaotic and disjointed map here, John. Fitting.
Yes.
Perhaps. The one consistent element, especially in that second half, MIBR in control.
Absolutely. And I mean, even when Complexity had those man advantages, just felt like MIBR were able to strike through. That last round is a perfect example of it, right? Only 50.